Hello. Hello, everybody. Hi, everyone. My name is Oluseya Ashiru, for those who don't know me, and I am the founder of Moms Achieving Purpose. Moms Achieving Purpose is an organization, a community of mothers where we support all moms with the right tools, the right resources, coaching courses, programs, events that will help them to be more intentional about their motherhood. So if you're here watching me, please invite your friends to join us. Share this video, please, if you wish. Share, invite someone to join us as we'll be having our mommy chat today. Every Thursday, we spend time on mommy chat where we connect with other moms who have their story to tell. So whether it's their story of motherhood, of life, of faith, or just their journey of motherhood, we spend all that time chatting with those moms, and we learn from them. The last time we were here, we had a chat with Kiki Jolubo, who is passionate about raising boys well. So we talked about raising your son, raising your teenagers in the way of the Lord, in faith, and shared a lot about all of that with us last time. And if you were not here the last time, you can catch the video for the last mommy chat with Kiki on our Instagram TV. It's also on our YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and search out Oluseya Ashiru, or you search out Moms Achieving Purpose, you will find that we are there, and we're going to be live chatting with Monica today. We have Monica Swanson with me. Monica, hi. Are you on Facebook? I think I need you on Instagram, where I can connect with you. Just a minute. Just stay on. Stay on. Let me see if I can bring you on here. That would be amazing. Actually, I'm not able to bring you on Facebook. So can you please meet me on Instagram on Moms Achieving Purpose so I can bring you on? People are already here waiting. Thank you everyone for joining in today's mommy chat. For those that are just coming in, please don't forget to share the video. Don't forget to invite someone to join us today as we chat with Monica. She's going to be live with me on Instagram, and I'll be chatting with her. I'm going to be talking today about raising boys. I am particularly privileged to know Monica. I've read her book. She has a beautiful book that she's written for boys, for raising boys, for moms of boys. And if you lay your hand on that book, it's on Amazon. So you can search out that book. It will be such a blessing to you. So today, we're just going to give Monica a bit of time. Okay, she's here now. She's here. Fantastic. Instagram. So if you're listening on Facebook, she's going to be here. Hi, Monica.
Hey, aloha.
Aloha, I know, right? How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. It looks like the sun is shining right there. Everything is calm and beautiful.
It is nice. It's a beautiful day. Yes.
That is good. That is good. Hi, everyone who's just joining us. Please share the video. Invite someone to be a part of this broadcast today. I'm talking here today with Monica. She's my new friend, right?
Yeah.
I met her through her book, right? I love, like, oh, this book is so good. Amazon, oh my goodness, this book is rich.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you don't have the book. What are you waiting for? Just grab yourself a copy. Because, I love what she shares in the book. I love the fact that she touches on different areas of the boy child and how we can parent them in different areas. She covers a whole range of things we need to look out for as moms of boys. I love your sky view. It's so beautiful.
Oh, sorry, that was accident.
I know, but it's a beautiful view.
Thank you.
On Facebook, can you hear us loud and clear? Can you hear Monica loud and clear?
Aloha. Everybody hear me? So good to be here.
Drop me a comment on Facebook. Let me know you can hear well and good. All right. So here, thank you everyone for joining us. I'm just going to go right into today's mommy chat. For those who are just coming in, my name is Oluseya Ashiru, and I'm the founder of Moms Achieving Purpose. We are a community of beautiful, amazing mothers, and we just support you as mothers on your journey in motherhood, or your journey of faith, of life. We support you with resources, with coaching, with programs, live events, online events, whatever kind of resource you think you can, you're thinking about, whether it's podcasts, videos, blogs, we got you covered, all right? So just be, if you're not a part of our community, just join us. You're in for a ride, all right? So today I have here Monica. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about herself.
Oh, all right. I would love to know, can you coach me on sharing this? I haven't done the live very often.
I
Do you know,
know.
is there something easy I can do to share this with my audience as well, or maybe
No,
later?
audience already knows you're live because it will have given them a notification that you're going live. So
Okay.
that's fine. Yeah.
Well, terrific. Okay, my name is Monica, and such a pleasure to meet you. I've been watching all the things you've been doing, and just such an encouragement. I'm here on the north shore of Oahu in Hawaii. So I am kind of in the country. If you have been to Hawaii, you might know Waikiki, Honolulu, but I'm like all the way on the top of the island in the country. And my husband and I are from like Seattle and Portland, Oregon area originally, but we've been here 19 years, and we have 4 sons, and they are surfers, and we homeschool, and we have a pretty simple life here. And I love to write. I blog at monicaswanson.com. I have the Boy Mom podcast, and which kind of came out when my book Boy Mom came out. And I just love to encourage families, love to encourage moms, moms raising boys, but really all moms. We're all in this together. We need each other. And so that's my heart.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing your story with me. I mean, when I just like, I have to connect with her. I just went on her Instagram, like, and she was so warm. I mean, such warm reception. And I thank you for that. Thank you.
I was honored. I was honored. Thank you.
Open arms.
Of course.
So much. I mean, that brings me to my first question around your boys are surfers, and I see that you have a son who is even who surfs competitively, right? So
Yeah.
a little bit about that. How is that? That sounds interesting.
I know. Well, let's see. My husband and I grew up doing more traditional sports. My husband was a soccer player and he played in college, but I think we're both kind of just, we love sports, we love competition. So when we moved to Hawaii and they started surfing, naturally my husband.
It's like I lost you there. I can't even hear you again. Hi. Yeah, I can hear you now. Fantastic.
Oh, okay.
Go
Was I
on.
gone? Ah, sorry.
You were
So
gone.
yeah,
Okay, we lost Monica. Yeah. Looks like we lost you again. Yeah. I'm wondering what's going on. We can't hear you. Okay. Are you back now?
let's see where I can get better. Oh, I hear you.
You hear me? Yeah, because I couldn't hear
Yeah.
you for a bit.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I
should
know.
be good.
Yeah, it's the
Okay.
internet.
We'll stay here.
Yeah,
Is this
so you were
better?
talking about your son, yeah, the surfing and everything.
Yeah, so my third son became competitive, and now he competes all over the world. He's got sponsors, so he's kind of like a young professional, and wants to be, you know, a, a world champion one day. He really is going hard for surfing. So yeah.
That is really, really beautiful. I'm like, how does that even sound like? But are you, I don't know, do you ever get scared? Are you ever
Yeah, yeah.
afraid?
Yeah, I do get worried. I'm trying to find a good spot. So tell me if you hear me. I'm
Yeah,
worried that
I
okay.
hear you.
So, oh, good. So, yes, I get worried. I pray and I trust God and I trust my husband's judgment and I trust my son who's worked hard for so long. And just all I can do is trust. So
I
yeah,
know.
but it's
I know.
fun. It's really fun.
Oh, I know it sounds like fun. I'm just like, oh my God, will I panic? What would I
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's
do?
danger. I mean,
Mm,
people think about sharks, and that's a consideration. But
mm,
even
mm.
more, there's the
Yeah,
reef, and they can fall and hit their head on a reef, and a lot of danger in the ocean just from the power of the waves.
yeah,
So we pray a
yeah.
lot.
I know. I can just imagine that.
Yeah,
But it sounds like a lot of fun. So I'm sure you're having a lot of fun with your four boys, and
yeah,
it's cool living on an island, and it feels
yeah.
like a vacation every day. Is that how
Well,
it feels like?
people think that, but there's still real life here, and we still have to do all the same stuff. We homeschool, we work hard, but
Hmm.
it is beautiful. So I'm thankful for the beauty around me.
That's beautiful. So
Yeah.
let me get into your book.
Hmm.
It's the first thing that brought me, like connect with you, right?
Yeah.
And I see you shared a lot of things, a lot of lessons that we can take away from there for those of us raising boys, right?
Hmm.
So I have a son and two daughters, but I still have a son, whether it's one or two or three or four, a son is still a son, and we still have
Yeah.
to raise him, right? So I love one of the things you shared in your book about building strong connections with
Hmm.
your son.
Yeah.
Do you want to share a bit about that for those who are listening?
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much. And you can still hear me okay, right? I want to make sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so I just think that a lot of moms who maybe didn't grow up with brothers, or they're not, they struggle to understand a boy because boys are different.
Mm,
There's similarities in sons and daughters. Some things we do the same, but sometimes a mom just feels like, I don't get them. I don't understand their noise, their energy. I don't understand why they need to always be moving and making sounds and getting dirty. And so I just encourage moms to not be afraid of that, to move in
mm,
towards them, to enjoy that. Uh, Even if it's new or it's different, to just do what you can to really embrace that boyness. And I think that too, something I like to talk about a lot is most of us tend to naturally be either very authoritarian and be the boss and be in charge, or we might be naturally really lovey-dovey and have trouble being in authority and being in charge. And so just encouraging moms to find that place where they can be both. It doesn't have to be one or the other, but to find that place where you can say, I need to be the mom. You need to obey me. There must be a level of respect. Uh,
mm,
God tells us to honor our father and our mother, that it will go well with us. So it is a command that is for our kids' good, but also to not forget to nurture, not forget to love, not forget to laugh and have fun. And so
mm.
I think it takes some intentionality, and that's a word I use all the time, but just that really intentionality to say, how can we be both? How can we still be in charge, but how can we be fun and loving? And that takes some time to figure out, I think, over time.
Amazing. That is beautiful. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
love what you say about the fact that we should embrace the boyness. I know
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
mothers, because we are not boys, sometimes
Yeah,
we are it's a hard time figuring out how they think,
totally. Yeah.
figuring out how they think, how
Oh, yeah.
that's no different. I was just joking with my son. I think earlier today, was it yesterday or something? I was just joking with my husband. I said, I could tell my son, you stink. And he would just smile and like, oh, mommy. And he just go and have a shower. And I dare
Yeah.
not say that to my girls. Like, that would
Mm-hmm.
be the end of the world. Because,
It's
girls
so different.
believe to things we're saying. But boys are more like, they can take anything
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
So I'm finding that balance between trying to be, the soft, and then knowing that he's tough, he can handle all these things. And so
Mm.
when he's making a joke, we shouldn't take it like, oh, he's just being impolite or whatever. He's just the way he
Yes.
thinks. And that's
Yes.
the lesson that I'm learning. I'm learning my
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. I say sometimes God prepared me well because I had only brothers in my family. So I think I kind of grew up understanding. And I tell a story in the book that, when they're young, sometimes we worry because we think we always hear about ADHD and about all these problems. And I think so often moms think there's a problem because their boy might be so out of control or rough or loud. And so when one of my sons was very young, like a toddler, I was really worried. I thought for sure there was a problem. And so I actually had a psychologist evaluate him. And the psychologist came to my home and spent time observing and watching. And at the end of it, I said, you know, can you tell me, is there a diagnosis? Like, I didn't know if he would tell me. I have to go write it up, because I was ready for, like, are we going to need medication? What do we need? Therapy? And he said, well, your son's only diagnosis is, and I waited, and he said, he's a boy. And so that was kind of like a relief to me. And even though I was like, oh, so I have to live with this, but it also told me this is normal and this is okay. And so I think that sometimes moms need to know it's not always a problem. They will outgrow that. That same boy who used to be bouncing off the walls, now he's 18 and he reads thick books and he studies theology and he has deep conversations. And I would have never guessed that. So if anybody listening or watching has a little boy and they're just crazy, just give them time. Give them time.
I love that. I love that. Give them time. You know, it's amazing how relationships would evolve as they grow older. You know, they just, you know, like find their level somehow, and then just settle into who they are. But I think that we just have to be patient through that time when it looks like, oh, I'm going to go crazy right now. You know, just be patient through it, and just give them room to express themselves. Of course, that you will have to put guidelines, you put boundaries in place, but give them room to express who they are. Don't let them ever feel like they need to change who they are just to fit your own expectations of how your child should behave, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Good word.
And I love, and that brings me to my next question. One of the things you mentioned in your book was about creating boundaries for children. And I just wanted to share a little bit about that, you know, and I love what you say about the fact that boundaries are important for our children to feel safe. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah. I love to talk about this. And I think, you know, more and more in this generation, maybe moms are afraid to lose their friendship. They don't want their kids to dislike them. So they back off on the boundaries. And as kids grow up, they think, well, I've taught them everything they need to know, and now I just have to let them learn. But I believe with all my heart, and research has proved that kids feel safer and more secure when they have boundaries. And sometimes I talk in the book about the unexpected power of no. Sometimes kids come to us and they say, oh, can I go here? Can I hang out with this person? Can I do this? And we don't want to let them down and say no. But the reality is, deep down inside, they may not feel ready for that thing. And when you say no, it might bring them peace. They might actually need to hear no. And so I just encourage moms, don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to set boundaries. But the flip side to boundaries, I'm a big believer in, is kids need freedoms and they need healthy adventure. And so I talk a lot about, like, finding ways to give our kids those opportunities to spread their wings and to face some hard things, whether it's in sports or challenging projects. But if we just set boundaries, it's not going to work out so well. They're just going to eventually rebel. But we don't want to give too many freedoms. So it's that, again, intentionality between, like, we don't want to let them do things that could damage their heart. We don't want to put them in situations where they're vulnerable to temptation or to bad influences. But within this boundary, let's give them some chances to do big things. And of course, my sons are surfers. But whether that's getting out and running a race, climbing a hill, creating a project, working on a car, or learning how to do something really hard, like, they need to do hard things. And so I think boundaries and freedoms go hand in hand. And I always say, like, the problems most boys get into, we could talk about gaming addictions. We could talk about pornography. We could talk about drugs or sexual promiscuity. These are ways boys are seeking that adventure that they need. So if we give them a healthy opportunity to experience things, they're so much less likely to get into trouble seeking adventure in unhealthy places. So I think that's a key to keeping our boys safe, is giving them the chance to do cool things that let them get tired and feel challenged and overcome hard things, and then they're less likely to make bad choices.
I love that. I love what you say about the fact that a lot of times because we are women too, right? We want to cuddle them. We just want them to do the safe and the easy things. We don't
Yeah.
allow them to spread their wings, like you said. We don't allow them to go on adventures, things that will make them feel like boys.
Yeah.
And of course, when you have that expression, they're going to
Yes.
find something, whatever else they feel like they need to turn to that will now make them feel like boys. And that will be a damaging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, exactly. It's so important. And then they grow up with more confidence and more character because they've overcome things and they've fallen down and skinned their knees, and that's all good.
Yeah.
But it's hard for us as moms.
No, I know. It's like you just want to burden, like, I don't want you to die.
Yeah, totally.
I don't
Totally.
want you to be alive right now. And so we
Yes,
don't,
yes.
yeah, we have that tendency to just want to keep them safe, keep them tied to us. Like, I don't want to let you out of my sight because I don't know what
Yes.
will happen. Um,
Yes,
mm,
yes.
mm, mm.
But
So,
it's
so let's
good.
talk
It's part of growing up.
yeah, yeah. It's part of
Sorry?
growing. True, true,
Yeah.
true, true,
Yeah.
true. So let's talk about faith. I hear you say your son is even studying theology, and that for me, in a generation that is so much darkness and there's not a lot of light shining around us, where we are struggling to find a little bit of light. So I'm very, very impressed, or my heart is always gladdened when I see people who have raised responsible, godly sons, who are touching their generation in their own way, who love Jesus, who have a heart for God. So
Yeah.
I would want to ask people like have gone ahead of me, who have older children, what have you done? What will you say are things you've done, maybe when they were growing up, or that you still do, that have helped you to build this secure foundation of
Right.
faith in your home?
Yes. Such an important question. Um, and I think that my heart and my husband's heart from the beginning has just been to be walking with Jesus ourselves, to be authentically walking with God every day, and then for our children to see that and to make it very natural, a part of our life, because I think so many kids who grow up with parents who say one thing but do something different, they see that hypocrisy and it turns them away. And so for us, it's really been our heart to just be genuinely walking with God. Like I need to stay close to the Lord every day. If I expect my kids to see that and want that and to be drawn to that, I want to be able to say, look at what I have. I have something so wonderful. I want you to have it. And if they see us fulfilled, if they see that God is truly the answer to our problems, if they see that God truly fills us and gives us joy and peace, they're going to be that much more likely to want that God in their life. So yes, when they're young, we read the Bible with them. We read Bible stories. We make devotions, I call them, spending time with God every day, reading the Bible and praying. It's just what we do. I'm like, this is just what you do. It's like brushing your teeth, eating breakfast. We spend time with God. And so we make that, I don't know if I would call it a rule, because we say it's part of the day and they do it, but none of them yet have said, I don't want to. And I think it's because they see that it's such a healthy part of the day. And so then as they get older, they just have started to own it. I think a big key is finding people outside of mom and dad who they admire and respect, who they want to be like. And so once they're junior high and high school age, it's so important to find good role models. And for us, that's been like our church youth ministry, men in our community who kind of take the boys under their wing and do Bible studies, or they're guys just a little older than them who have really set a good example. And then we encourage them, spend time with these people, because we know that mom and dad were good, but they hit an age where maybe it helps to have a few more voices saying the same thing. So it takes a community, and we've been so blessed to have just a really awesome community and people that really care about our kids. So we point them to them. Yeah.
That's an amazing thing, because what I hear you say is two things. One is to model the Christianity in your home, with that example that they see, because a lot of times children catch more than what we say. They see our lives. They see whether we are being true to the words we speak. They see whether we're just being fake or just having a mask over our faces when we go out and then do something else when we're home.
Totally.
So they see all of that. They see us. They see through us. So when they check through us and all they find is still Jesus, then it's easier for them to actually keep embracing that life. I mean, I lost my dad just a week ago.
I know.
And
I saw that. What a godly
you.
man. What a special man. Wow.
And I'm like, this, I mean, we were not always on the straight and narrow, you know, if you get what I mean. But the truth is that we always came back to the same point of saying, you know what, there's no other better way.
No.
Even if you go back and forth, anyhow you look at it, you still have to come to the same point where you see, you know what, I think Jesus is better than anything else. Then I could choose elsewhere. So when the Bible says, train up your child in the way they should go, when they are old, they will not depart from it. Doesn't mean they will not make mistakes along the way. Doesn't mean they will not try other things along the way. It just means that when they look at it in the big picture, they will see that there's no other way. Nothing else is better than this option. And that is profound for me. And the second thing I hear you say is find a community of people who will help you, say the same things, reinforce the same things that you are doing at home. Maybe it's church community, maybe it's friends, maybe it's families that you're friends with, other people that your children can see how they're living their lives, see how they are doing the same things you are seeing in your home, and that is beautiful. That is beautiful.
Yeah. Yes, I think so, and I think even as they get older, and you know, social media has such a bad rap with young people, but we found people that they can follow that inspire them, that are, you know, standing for God and speaking the truth. And so we just keep pointing them to good role models and try to find good books and good stories and just all the ways you can to shape and influence your children. It does take a community. You're right.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And you know what? Something just dropped in my heart as you were speaking about it. It takes a community. So sometimes our community may not necessarily be people around us. It just says something profound about books. It could be the community you're raising by allowing your child to be exposed. Because maybe some mothers are in a place where they're isolated. They may not have so many friends. Maybe you're new to your community. You may not see those people around you that can help you at this season of your life.
Yes.
You can expose your children to other communities. It could be the Bible stories you allow them to watch. It could be books you allow them to read. Those are also communities that you can expose them to.
Yep.
You know, and that's such a valid point right there.
Yes.
Okay. So Annie, there's something you said in your book about building identity. So helping your children to build a strong foundation in their identity. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah. This is a topic that I think my husband and I were interested in well before we had kids, because I think this is something my husband, even growing up, just really wrestled with and had to come to terms with. So it's been on our minds since the beginning. And that's just understanding, especially when you're an athlete or, you know, you have something, you don't want to get your identity wrapped up in something that is changing, right? And so I believe that every boy and every kid growing up hits that stage of life, especially usually in their tween years, maybe middle school, junior high, where they just start to question, who am I and how do I fit in? And do I fit in? And am I cool or am I a nerd? Like, how do I fit into this big world? And so there's that question that it's just part of growing up. And I think as parents, it can kind of break our heart because we're just like, oh, you hate to see kids question if they're cool enough. They question if their value. And so a message we've just really drilled into our kids from the time they're young is just, God created you with a purpose and a plan, and nothing will change that. And his love for you will never change. And no matter what happens around you, no matter what anybody thinks of you, your identity is rooted in Christ alone. And so that message, I think when they're young, it just kind of, they hear it and it just, yeah. But then they get older and and then they get to a point where they're really starting to struggle. And some of those words they've heard over and over maybe start to make some sense to them. And I don't think it's going to take away the struggle. I mean, there's still going to be a struggle, right? Even as adults, we all struggle with our identity. We want to be liked. We want to be appreciated. We want to be accepted. We want to have success, or what, it plays out different in everybody's life, but to really preach to yourself and your kids daily that I have value because God created me in his image, and he loves me enough that he sent his son to die for me. And just over and over, I think that one day it starts to click and they start to see it. And like for our son, who's a surfer, you know, his identity, he's popular because he's a surfer, and he gets attention because he's a surfer. But we say, dude, in one day, your surfing could be taken away. Anything can happen. You need to know that your value is not in your surfing. Your value is not in your grades. Your value is not in your friends or how many likes you get on social media. Your value is found in the fact that you are a son of the living God, and that's it. And so, again, they don't always get it when they're young, but I think if we keep living it ourselves and believing it and preaching it, it goes in. They hear it. So it's so important for all of us. For me, I'm preaching to myself too.
I know. You know, we just had in the month of May, we had a 30-day prayer session where one of the things that the Holy Spirit opened our eyes to pray about was identity, like praying for your children about the identity, because it is so profound. We see it even for adults. Like, we see a lot of people struggling with the identity. I was sharing with a friend about a time in my life where I was really struggling with a lot of things that I was involved in, with the coaching that I do, with everything I do. So I was doing events. I mean, I did events where they were sold out. People would come. There's so many people there. And then I had to do an event, and people were not showing up. And I was so devastated. Like, did God, you said I should do this event. What is going on in my life? And you know what the Holy Spirit said to me? I sent you on that errand. But I wanted you to know that your identity is not wrapped in whether people come or not.
Wow.
Like, okay, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. And you know, so I started to go on a journey where when I speak to people, I tell them, you know what? It's beautiful to have all these amazing results, but never for one day think that your value is tied to all of these things you are getting, because they are not. It's not tied to it. So whether or not you get results, who you are is who you are. God has made it to be who God has made it to be. It's now another ball game for us to translate these lessons into our children's lives, where they start to embrace these lessons. It's I'm on that journey too. So it's not like I know everything. No. We are all on that journey, and it takes a constant intentionality every day to keep reminding ourselves not to feel good only when everything is going well.
Oh, so good.
There's that tendency with social media, people making themselves look like it's you know, it's when everything is going well. It's all the other posts. You only see people things are going well for them.
Right.
So my life is over because things are not going well for me.
Yes.
And we carry that same thing into our homes, and our children are watching us.
Yes.
They're looking at us. They're taking a cue from how we respond to situations in our life.
Yes.
And that is where the problem is. So for us as parents, it is up to us to first of all get our identity pure because otherwise it will be so tough to be able to pass on the same message to our children.
Yes.
And that's why I do what I do. I have a passion for helping mothers discover, embrace, and fulfill God's purpose for their lives. Like, if you don't even understand who you are, how are you going to tell your children?
Exactly. No, so good. That's why what you do is so important. I'm so glad.
Yeah. Thank you. Also, next question. I know you said to me that you have a passion for for raising sons of character. When we talk about raising sons of character, a lot of people don't even know what that looks like. So what
I know.
What are the things that we can use to measure to say, oh yes, this boy is a boy with good character, or he's a person of good character, and you can say, yes, I think I've done a good job raising this son. What are the things we need to look out for?
I love that you said that, because I think that's one challenge of character is it's not like other things where you can be objective, like, you know, you can get good grades or you can score in a sport, but character is more something of the heart. But I think we do see plenty of evidence of character when we look at kids. And so I always say that my passion for raising sons of character began really before I had kids. It was when I was doing like youth ministry and I was teaching school and my husband was coaching, and we would just see these kids and we're like, you have that moment where you meet a kid and you're like, I need to meet your mom. Like, you are outstanding. And you don't know what it is. There's just something about that kid that you're like, your parents did something right. So I used to meet these kids and I'd be like, what is it? Like, they weren't the most popular, the smartest, the most, athletic. They just had something special in them. And so I kind of was on a mission from that time that if I raise kids one day, I want them to have that character. I want them to stand out because it's just beautiful. And I think there was a time in our history where character was really prized and people focused on character. And I think I read that it was sometime more in around Industrial Revolution, maybe, where people started to, the focus was less on character and more on the self. And people began to think more about getting ahead, about taking care of themselves, looking out for themselves, and less on just the value of a heart that is other-centered and it focused on others. So character has not been such a big deal in our culture for many years now. And every year it's like less of a value. And so I just say, please, let's hold on to this. Let's value character the way that it ought to be valued. And I mean, I believe that a strong character, godly character, grows out of a heart that loves God. I've said to my oldest son, who will be 21 this summer, I said, what is it? Because he's got that kind of character. And he's like, Mom, I know God sees me all the time. And I just want to honor him. Like, I really, really don't think about people as much as pleasing the Lord. And of course, that's like a mom's heart, right? But I think that when a child knows and loves God and they know how much they've been forgiven and they understand their salvation, their heart will be more likely to develop the fruits of the Spirit. And those are going to present as good character qualities. But again, it's all the things we've been talking about. I believe that influence, how is our character? If I tell my son not to lie, does he see me lie? If I tell my son or daughter not to gossip, do they hear me gossip? What the things I'm telling them, do I live that out? Because again, they're going to be more likely to do what we do than what we say. And so much of it is modeling. So much of it is the influences in their life. But then I think teaching them, when they're young, we can teach them manners. And then as they grow older, we teach them these character qualities because we can't expect them to know. We need to talk to them about it. We don't assume they're going to just develop character. We need to talk about it and teach them. This is what it looks like. When you meet somebody, you look them in the eyes, you shake their hands. This is how you show appreciation. This is how you respond to people appropriately. So I think there's just a lot of teaching in the home. And if you can do it in the home, it's going to carry with them out into the world. We can hope.
Wow. I hear you say two things, which is one, we model this character. I think three things actually.
Yeah.
We model the character. So we being ourselves, these people of character, goes a really long way in helping our children to become those people of character. For those who are my friends, and you've seen me share about my dad in the last 1 week. And so what you're saying is important because we grew up seeing that you have to be this person. Like there's no, he showed us what integrity was like, and you have this because there's no way to be, right? And so number one is modeling this, being that person yourself will help your children become people of good character.
Yes.
Number here you say is a relationship with the Lord will automatically bring good fruits, right? So even for children who don't have good role models, who were not raised in homes where they had parents who could model good things to them, they become people who follow the Lord, and then we see a difference in their lives because they follow the Lord, right? So even in situations where we make mistakes, right? That's why we have to point them to the one who is infallible.
Yes.
Because we make mistakes ourselves. We are human, right? So the times when we make mistakes, the times when, and they see that you're genuinely, you've made a mistake. You say, I'm sorry, I did that.
Own it.
move on. But when we point them to Jesus,
Yeah.
who's error-free, who never makes any mistakes, who's always this ideal role model, they can see those things for themselves.
Yeah.
They can live out these values, that is, see the word of God say, live this out, right? So that's number two. And then number three, here you say is teach.
Teach.
Not because they should know. No,
Yeah.
they cannot know. Like,
Yeah.
we have to teach these values. We have to, tell them what to do. Especially when they are much younger, we have to keep telling them, do this, do that. And then as they grow older, they begin to internalize these things we've told them.
Yeah.
And then they are able to live out these lives of character
Yes.
exactly the way we envision them to be able to live it out.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. And those conversations, I think sometimes kids hit a certain age and parents just feel maybe awkward or like, oh, I've taught them everything, like they just somehow feel like they need to move away a little bit and give kids that freedom. And I'm like, no, keep talking. They're listening. They may not act like they're listening, but they're listening. So keep talking. And I mean, have fun with them, enjoy them, but look for opportunities to keep teaching too. I think that we need to keep doing that as long as they're in our home.
Yeah. I like that. Because a lot of times we think, oh, maybe he's old enough to understand what I've been saying. But I mean, even the Bible talks about the fact that faith comes by hearing, and hearing is like, you have to keep talking about it, because my son was sharing something, I think just yesterday. We're talking about the gift of the Spirit in devotion, and he was saying, oh, I remember there are 9 of them, and they're divided into three, and I was like, okay, I don't remember teaching. Like, I heard it in Sunday school. This was like when we were still in Nigeria. I had it in Sunday school a few years back, and even though I was dozing off in the class that day in Sunday school, I remember. I remember that was showing, and I was like, that is profound, because maybe that's just thought, oh, he's just sleeping. Maybe he wasn't listening, but we don't know when they will hear, and that is why we have to keep sharing. We have to keep saying, because we don't know which one.
Exactly.
Sow your seed in the morning, sow it in the evening.
Yeah.
I don't know which of them will come to be the one that they will hear and they will take to heart, right? So it is. I love that saying, keep sharing.
Yes. I talk a lot. So many people do, but Deuteronomy chapter 6, and just that example of talking about God's commands as you walk along the road, when you get up, when you sit down, when you lie down, like just. And I think the key is for us is, if the Lord is on our mind, if he's on our heart, it'll be a natural overflow. It doesn't have to be forced. And so for me, it's where's my heart today? Have I spent the time I need with the Lord so that he's on my mind? And that's my responsibility. You can't fake it. They can sniff out a hypocrite, I always say. So it has to be authentic.
Yeah, that is it. So it's like an overflow of our everyday life.
Yeah.
And that is that is, so we can't even just come up with a set of rules and say, oh, these are the rules I want to put in my children. It has to be an overflow of our everyday life. It's something that flows out of our relationship with the Lord, and everything just kind of like aligns with that relationship. I hear you. I hear you. So I want to talk about influences. We talked about the kinds of influences we should surround our children with. So my question is around what kinds of influences. So not just people now. So what has your experience been like in terms of the kinds of influences we should surround our children with, and how has that been for you in your home?
Right. Great question. And I think because we homeschool, it's a little bit different from some people, but I do think the advantage of that, nothing's perfect, right? Homeschooling, public, private, but one advantage is they're around us all the time. And so our family is a pretty tight unit, and with the 4 brothers, they're together a lot. But as they've grown up, of course, we have been intentional about keeping them plugged in to Sunday school and church and the community of our church. But beyond that too, like you already mentioned, is just introducing them to great men and women of history. We read missionary stories. We watch films, movies, listen to audio books that really model character for our kids. And so I think just the influences of those things that we can bring into the home it can make a huge difference. I mean, some of those things really have helped shape our kids' lives. And so I think those intentional influences, some of the things we face today that every parent has to make decisions about is technology, screen time. And there's no easy answer. You know, I wish always that I could just give like 3 steps, 5 ways.
No.
But it's so individual to the family and to your situation. And so we're pretty cautious, I would say. One thing I tell every family is, you know, please have filters on your devices so that kids don't stumble upon something. Pornography is just like waiting to get into our kids' lives in one way or another. And nothing is perfect. Even if you have all the filters in the world, there's still going to be some way, either through a friend or something can happen. So really teaching our kids to protect their heart and to what they're looking out for.
I can't hear you again.
Oh, uh-oh.
What happened? Can you hear me?
Uh-oh. I hear you. Am I there yet? Hello? No? Am I frozen?
I can hear you.
See.
Fantastic.
I'll keep moving. You hear me again? I'll keep moving.
Okay.
And my dog is barking. How's this? Okay?
I'm good. You're good.
Okay, good. I'm just changing seats everywhere today. So
What
yeah,
happened
I
again?
think
We lost you again.
Tell me
Lost you
when.
again.
Tell me when you hear me. I'm so sorry. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello, hello? Oh no, I'm so sorry. Can you hear me? Hello?
Still can't hear you. Can everybody hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, guys, so that I know that it's not from my end. Right?
I hear you.
Let me know if you're watching. Can you hear me? Can you hear Monica? Which one of us can you hear? Where are we having issues so we can know where to start?
Hello?
You can hear Monica. Can you hear me? You cannot hear me.
You. I hear you.
You can hear me. I can't hear you. Oh, everybody can hear me, but they can't hear you. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to log you off, then you come back in, okay?
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay, for some reason I couldn't hear her, so I'm just going to bring her back now. You did not hear Monica. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Am I back? Am I on?
What am I doing wrong?
Can you hear me?
Don't know.
Tell me if you hear me.
Yes, I hear you now. Good.
Yay! Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I don't know. It could just be. Sometimes Instagram has its days too. So
yes, it does. Well, okay. I'll just pick up from where I left off. So, internet, screens, get filters. Hopefully, everybody has filters. But even if you have filters, there's nothing is foolproof, right? There's always some way our kids will be exposed to things. Yeah. So we really teach them early to be careful, we use the book. I don't know if you've seen the book called Good Pictures, Bad Pictures, but it's a book. It's a great book for young kids. And it's a really clear, helpful tool to teach kids what is pornography and how to guard your eyes if you see it. So it's an excellent book, Good Pictures, Bad Pictures. It's a tool because, you know, this is a very awkward subject to bring up with kids. And so it's something you can go through together. And it shows them in simple terms, but plenty of information for them to understand there's danger. And so if you see something, this is what you do, you know, and it gives them this plan. When you see it, you close your eyes, you put it away, you go get your parents. So there's, that's helpful. So we prepare their heart for what they're going to see online. And then as far as the influences online, we just really have to be careful about guarding their time. You know, how much time do kids need on a screen? Is there something else they could do? Are we making them do work enough? Or are they being active? Could they read a book and not play a game? And so it's a lot of just making choices for your family. And I know some people live where it's really cold in the winter, or they're stuck inside, or the quarantine. I understand. It's not easy. But for us, I've been grateful because where I tend to get soft, My husband's pretty firm with this, and he's just like has no tolerance for video games, or so he just is like, no. So he's made me stronger, because I would be the one to say, oh, it's okay, but he's like, no. So we're pretty careful with the online influences, and then otherwise helping kids choose friends choose friends carefully. And my dog is barking now. But we're really just intentional about talking to our kids about their choices they're making with friendships and involvement and all the things that they do. And that's an ongoing conversation.
I love that.
Yeah.
So we're talking about things, we're talking about people.
Yeah.
I think what I hear you say is just being intentional about your choices. Spend time with. So whether it's with people or with maybe you want to wait. Well, how is that going to add value to me? Or what can go wrong when I'm exposed to this thing? So if it's not what can go wrong, it's what can I get out of it? Is it a good relationship? What will add value to me? Whether it's a book, whether it's a movie, whether it's screen time, whether it's a game, or whether it's people, whatever it is, what can I get out of it? Or how can I me? What can I what can I me to? So that's what I hear. I hear you say that.
Exactly.
So, and that leads me. Okay, so guys, if you're watching on Facebook or on Instagram, you want to drop a comment, you want to ask Monica a question, you want to ask me a question, please drop your comment so that she can tackle that as we are, because now we have about 10 minutes left on Instagram. So we want to make you good use of that. So if you have any questions, please drop them for me in the comments, and she can handle those comments. So my next question for you is around what would you say has been one of the most significant lessons that you have learned as a mom of boys? Maybe you made a mistake sometime and you had to correct something. What would be your greatest lesson?
Great question. Oh boy, where do I start?
I know.
I think one thing that comes up a lot is that less words is usually better, because I have a tendency, and I know I've talked to plenty of other women who say we tend to do the mommy lecture where we talk on and on and on. And really boys have a very short attention span. And so they listen for a few seconds and then they may be looking at you in the eyes, but their brain is far away. So I think it's really key to keep our words short, to get right to the point. I also think just the importance of spending time with them. I think it's so easy for us to just parent and do all the parenting things, but just to hang out and grow to know them, get to know their personality, have some fun with them, ask them questions, dig in a little bit, because they have a lot going on. And if they know you're there to listen, if you're not too busy, because so often we come to them, but then we're looking at our phone, or we're distracted, or we're trying to get away because we've got one more thing to do. But if we just sit down with nothing in our hands and just look at them and say, how's it going? And you wait, sometimes they've got a lot more to say than you might think.
Wow, that is profound. I love that. So building that connection with them, just spending time with them, hanging out with them, not because you want to give them a lecture, not because you have something you saw that is not right.
And
I
was going to add that oftentimes as they get a little older, that time is usually late at night when mom's really tired and wants to go to bed, and they'll open up and have all kinds of things to say late at night, but that's a good time to listen. I was just going to ask you that, you've been with boys, right? Like, as they grow older, do they still want to spend time with you? Is the question. Do they want to spend time, or just want whatever, I just want to do my thing? How's your experience been with that? Right. Well, and I think that's a good, really important question. And I think that's why if anyone has younger kids listening, I say, listen to them when they're young. Listen to their little stories, and sometimes that go on and on, because I think that's building that trust. And then as they grow older, they're going to be more likely to keep talking to you. So if you earn their trust when they're young, they'll continue to talk as they get older. And so, yes, my older boys do talk to me a lot. We really have a great friendship. And, you change from being just like a mom to more of a mentor or a coach, and ultimately a friend as they hit adulthood. And so for us, it's been, I'm going to move to find a better spot, because for us, it has been, oh, sorry. somebody's here and my son's trying to intercept. so I should be okay.
That's okay.
So I don't know who it is. So we so sorry. Let me just see if I can do this. Okay. So I think that connection will absolutely grow in time. It's been really special for me having my college son home for the quarantine, because I've really seen our friendship now in a different level, because he will be 21 and he's had, you know, a girlfriend situation, and to see that he wants to talk to me about that, to see that we get to share that, I'm just like, oh, thank you, God, so much that this isn't something he just goes to other people. It's healthy. I mean, he doesn't go to me for things he shouldn't, but appropriately, he wants advice. He wants wisdom. And I'm just so grateful. And I know that built over the years. It didn't just happen.
So what I hear you say is start now. Like, don't say, oh, I'm just going to wait until they're older, until they understand what I'm saying. So whatever connections we build now helps us to keep building them deeper as we get older.
Yes, absolutely.
I hear you. I hear you. Somebody had a question around, so she has an 11-year-old son who wants a phone. Should she give the son a phone?
Oh, I wish I had the answer for you. I'll say this. There's not one answer. There's so many variables. We gave our first son a phone. Now, remember, we homeschool, we're together a lot. So our kids don't really need phones. Some people, if your kids are away from you and you're trying to communicate, but our first son got a phone when he was 13, and we waited longer for each kid. So my 16-year-old didn't get a smartphone until he was 16. Now, he got a flip phone at 14 or 15 because he needed to call us. But we're like, you don't need the internet in your palm when you're 14. So I know that sounds extreme to some people, but again, we just saw with our first son what it did. It's like, we had new challenges, every day we had to talk about things because now he has this new device. And we could just, if he didn't have it, it would clear away so many of the issues we had to face. So for us, we didn't see the value in it compared to the value of not having it. And my 10-year-old, he wants a phone right now. You know, what are we going to do? Because that's a long time. I'm like, oh, I don't know what we'll do. So it's individual for each family and each child. Personally, unless they really need it when they're 11, maybe get them a flip phone if they need to call you. But there's a lot of potential problems when you give a young kid a phone.
I hear you. So I hear you say, look at your own situation. Like, then think about the fact that, you know, what harm? What are weigh the pros and the cons? One do you think works for you? For my son, he had to go to school on the bus. He needed Google Map. He needed to have internet on his phone. So for me, I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, there's nothing I could do because he needed internet. He needs to find his way around taking the bus to school by himself. When he got into grade 7, so it was now a matter of, well, just means I have to do more work.
Exactly.
More work to monitor, more work to keep telling him, you know what, I hope you're making the right choices. I equipped you with the right tools to make the right choices. I hope you're listening. I hope I'm praying for you. I trust that the Lord will help you. So it's more work when they have the phone, and I agree with you. There's more work, there's more things to consider. It's headache to think, oh my God, I hope that, you know, he's not doing the wrong thing. So yes, so if you can delay, delay.
It's easier.
Especially when your child doesn't really need that phone. You know, I would agree with you. Delay until you can delay no more.
Good way to put it.
Did I miss any other question? Does anybody have any other question as we are about to round up now, guys? So because we have just a few minutes left to do this, okay? So if anybody has, just quickly drop your question if you have any. Otherwise, we're just gonna I'm just gonna say Monica's book has changed my life, you know, the way I think, the way I'm being intentional raising my son. So if you want to get her book, I got it on Amazon. So I'm sure if you get on Amazon, you can find her book. The book is do you have the book with you right there?
Yes, I can walk to it again. I keep moving around.
Boy, mom, just
Boy, mom.
Monica Swanson, you will find you find the book, Boy Mom, what your son needs most from you. That's the book. You can find it on Amazon. That book covers a whole range of topics, a whole range of things we should be thinking about in raising our sons. All right, we have just 20 seconds to go on Instagram. So guys, thank you for being a part of today's session. It's been beautiful. Thank you, Monica, for being a part of today.
Thank you so much.
Celebrate you and all the things you've been doing so far. So guys, bye-bye from us. This video will be uploaded on YouTube. It will be on IGTV. You can go back and catch the replay. Bye, Monica.
Aloha. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Take care. Bye-bye.